To the YouTube please out there, this is a private shooting range. It's not listed. I'm not allowed to give you guys where the venue is. This is a private shooting range. All the necessary safety precaution has been met. This is an air gun in 177 format, so no license needed for this gun either. So everything is above board. You can go ahead and say thank you. Good day. It's Gert here from Aim Small. Thank you for watching this video in advance. Today I'm back at doing what I love most, and that's pellet testing and slug testing. But today I'm going to play around again with subfoot 12 pound. Today I'm going to play again with 12 foot-pound guns or less, but I do have the FX here to push these guys a little bit harder. I'm looking for competition pellets specifically, and I'm going to look for hunter field target pellet specific. I want something that is super accurate up to 41 meters or 45 yards. For those guys that actually do shoot hunter field target, I hope to see you guys at Worlds this year. I did qualify for the national team for South Africa, and I will be traveling to Hungary in July this year to go and shoot at the World Championships there. So I hope to see you guys there. If you see me on the range, come and say hello, have a chat. I'm not that bad a person. Alright, what am I testing today? Well, I've got a China make pellet this time, not a Czech made. This is a China, so check your China. We are on a roll here. And these are the Qs. It stands for something weird. I've got this Yong Ching Wang Guang Sport or something like that. Pardon my Chinese pronunciation. In 177 caliber, 8.48 grains. And I did do the weighting. I'll give you guys the weighting and first impressions just now. But I've got two variants of the 8.48s. The one is the domed one, much the same as the Diablos that we know from JSB. And then we've got the Streamline ones in exactly the same weight. Now, a couple of things that stood out with these pellets are that they appear slightly longer than the normal 4.5mm pellets. And that is just because of the massive cavity that they've got in the back. So this thing, I don't think is going to work exceptionally well if you've got a pin probe in your gun, because it won't seat it deep enough. But it's got a massive cavity in the back. And there's two things I like about this. First and foremost, you know it's going to catch all the air out of the air gun. And the second thing is these skirts are nice and thick. They are solid. They fit nicely into the barrel itself. And out of the tin that I've got here, and this is not a sponsored video by the way, I bought these two tins with my own precious money. I couldn't find a single bent skirt within these pellets, which is quite awesome. The last tin of JSBs I had to throw about 10% of the tin away that had bent skirts out of the tin. So the packaging in this is not a solid tin, it is a plastic container, but it's quite nice. And what I love about the plastic container is you can actually look through it and see if there's bent skirts in there or not. So it gives the buyer the advantage to actually look at the different batches and make a decision there. Now it says 4.50, 4.51. I don't know, my caliber is not that sensitive to measure this, but I'm going to shoot them today out of two guns. So this is my hunter field target gun, this is my Worlds gun, it's going to Worlds, it's an HW100. I'm going to shoot this baby, it runs at approximately 780 feet per second. I'll post the speeds as I go along, and I'm going to do a couple of scenarios here. But first, let's go and weigh these pellets.
I simply took 20 pellets randomly selected out of the tin and started weighing them. So on the domed ones, it was interesting to see that the weight was slightly under on an average of 8.446, the heaviest pellet at 8.6 and the lightest one at 8.31. Overall, not too shabby, quite decent. I don't think this will make a massive difference up to 40 meters. With the Streamlined ones, I saw a lesser deviation, although the lightest one came out at 8.2 8.28 and the heaviest at 8.6. So actually a bigger deviation, not a lighter deviation. Average weight 8.475, which is a lot closer to the 8.48 stipulated. One thing I need to just mention is how beautiful these skirts are on these pellets. Not a single one was bent, and out of the 20 that I took out, all of them basically perfect.
Alright, so the test today is going to be quite simple. It's going to be quite short as well. I'm going to shoot this out of the HW100, around about 780 feet. I'll post the speed up now. I'm going to shoot 2 7-shot groups. Why 7 shots? Because I've got a 14-shot magazine. So it just makes it simpler and easier for me without having to change magazines or whatever. I'm not single loading this. This gun is not pellet fussy at all. This is probably why I absolutely love this one Weihrauch of mine. My other Weihrauch is in for a tune. That one is extremely pellet fussy, but I found the right batch of pellets finally for that one, and hopefully I can get some more of those same pellets in the same batch number. Alright, let's do this. Domed ones, running at plus minus 780. Alright, so that looks extremely promising. I had one or two slightly off target, and I'm shooting off a bipod and I'm shooting off a beanbag in the back to get me 100% stability. So this is the closest I'm gonna ever get to bench rest at 30 meters. Out of those groupings, the last two were phenomenal. Time to go measure up, give you guys the results on the domes.
The cues in the dome format in 8.48 grain performed exceptionally well, even better than I actually expected. So looking at those groupings, all 4 groupings under 11 millimeters center to center, that is not a bad start. Remembering these pellets aren't sorted, they aren't weighed, they're straight out of the tin.
From a pricing perspective, the Qs are almost the same price as the JSBs. So from that perspective, why would I shift between different brands? Well, I'm looking for consistency. So as in the first one with the dome, I think there's enough consistency there for me to really consider starting shooting these pellets. But now let's have a look at the Streamlined. In general, what I've seen from pellets with a more pointed tip, they're usually not that accurate. Hopefully these babies can surprise me. Let's do this. Alright, so that's a little bit of a mixed bag. Before I make my predictions or my measurements here from the back, let's quickly go and have a look at what he did.
The first group wasn't the best at almost 12 millimeter, but the second group was by far the best at 6.1 millimeter center to center. Group 3 and 4 were exceptional again, except for that one tiny little flyer that just got away. Now that can be idiot error again, or it can be that it is slightly off balance, or again, the pellets hasn't been weighed or measured. But from that perspective, I think the Streamlines did exceptionally well.
It is now time to play with the big boy. So this is the FX Impact in 177. This is a Mark II. There's a specific reason I don't shoot with the FX HFT or FT, and you'll see why just now. So I've tried to adjust the gun. The regulator's around about 90 bar. It's a little bit hard, so I had to play extremely hard with the front valve and the hammer spring to get the speed as close to 780 as I can. So let's do this. I'm going to shoot a 10-shot group with the domes, and then I'm going to shoot a 10-shot group with the Streamlines at 800 feet, and then I'm going to bump the speed up to a whopping 900 feet per second and see what these Qs can do at speed. Domes out of the FX, 10 shots. Ten-shot group, Streamlines. Alright, so except for 2 ugly flyers, that was quite a decent grouping with the Streamlines. Time to up the speed a bit. again, those ugly flyers. Let's go to the Streamlines. I just had to do that. I had to shoot 10 shots and then 2 extra. 11 almost perfect shots. 12th one, pew, flyer again. Alright, so again guys, these pellets aren't weighed, they aren't measured, they are straight out of the tin. But if I look at the two out of the FX, and I'll put the comparison up now, the Streamlines are a lot more accurate out of the 600mm barrel that I've got on here. It prefers the Streamlined a heck of a lot more than the domes. The domes were absolutely rubbish. Might be good for pest control up to 30 meters, but for competition shooting, not in my guns. Right, final measurements, wrap up.
So that wasn't the best I've seen at the 30-meter grouping. The domes absolutely did not want to work out of the FX barrel, had so many flyers all over the show, but the Streamlines were a heck of a lot better, and they were a lot better at a higher speed. So maybe out of the FX gun, that extra bit of speed is all it needs. Well, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.
That's all, folks.